Germany's harsh wake-up call, work longer or collapse. Welcome back, everyone. Germany, the industrial heart of Europe, once hailed for its discipline, engineering, and economic might, is now at a crossroads. Not just a financial downturn, not just a labor shortage, but something far deeper, more existential, a reckoning. The alarms are blaring from the top, and they're not being sounded by populist radicals or fringe commentators. No, this time it's Germany's very own economy minister Katarina Reiche, warning that the house is on fire. Her message? Work longer or watch it all crumble. But is that the solution, or just another desperate move by a government losing control? Stay with me, because today, we're unpacking the fiery debate unfolding in Berlin. We'll break down what Reiche really said, the storm she triggered, and why Germany's future may now hang in the balance. And in the second half of this video, we'll zoom out, because Friedrich Merz just tore into the EU-US trade deal signed over the weekend in Scotland. His warning: this deal could mark the beginning of the end for Germany's economy. Let's dive in. In a striking interview with the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, Economy Minister Katarina Reiche didn't mince words. She said what many in Germany fear, but few dare say out loud: Germans aren't working enough, and the current balance between work, life, and retirement, it's no longer sustainable. Her proposal? Extend working hours. Extend working life. In plain language, delay retirement and increase the number of hours the average German works per year. Why? Because the country's economic engine is sputtering, and the fuel tank, its workforce, is running dry. The root cause, according to Reiche, is demographic collapse. Germany's birth rate is falling, life expectancy is rising, and the traditional model, work 2/3 of your life, enjoy retirement for the last third, is becoming a fantasy. Her blunt assessment: demographic change and increasing life expectancy make it unavoidable. Working life must be extended. And she didn't stop there. She compared Germany's average annual working hours, just 1,340, to the US, where employees average closer to 1,800. That's nearly 500 hours more. That gap, she warned, isn't just inconvenient, it's an existential threat to Germany's competitiveness in a ruthless global market. But her proposal ignited a firestorm. As expected, opposition leaders pounced. Labor unions accused Reiche of ignoring worker fatigue and dismissing the physical demands of many jobs. Even members of her own coalition criticized her tone, calling it elitist and out of touch. But here's the twist: she wasn't completely alone. Rainer Dulger, president of the German Employers Association, backed her strongly. In his words, those outraged by Reiche's comments are denying reality. His message was stark: we are heading toward a demographic cliff. Ignoring it would be a betrayal of future generations. Germany must wake up or it will break. In other words, work harder now or watch your children suffer later. Of course, critics quickly shot back. They pointed out that many older workers are already exhausted, that automation and digitalization should be solving this problem, not burdening workers with longer hours. But the data is on Reiche's side. Germany is aging, its workforce is shrinking, and its welfare state, pensions, healthcare, unemployment insurance, is groaning under the pressure. But the labor crisis is just one part of a much bigger story. Reiche also addressed the elephant in the room: Germany's broader economic stagnation. Despite modest export gains earlier this year, she sees no evidence of long-term stability. Instead, she warned of an impending storm, fueled by global trade tensions, rising tariffs, and collapsing competitiveness. And here's where things get political, fast. Reiche warned that Germany's high labor costs, driven by taxes and levies, are pushing businesses to relocate. The country is becoming uncompetitive, not just in hours worked but in energy prices, corporate taxes, and regulatory burden. And then there's the gas. In a speech delivered during the recent EU-US summit in Scotland, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stunned many when she said the EU no longer wants Russian gas or oil, and will instead embrace American LNG. According to her, US LNG is not only more affordable but also better. Wait, what? This raises a very serious question. Has the EU abandoned all economic logic in favor of geopolitical alignment with Washington, even if it means higher costs for industries and consumers? Because if American LNG is truly cheaper than Russian supplies, why was Germany's industrial base, dependent on energy-intensive manufacturing, crippled when Russian gas was cut off? No wonder public anger is growing. Let's talk numbers. Polls show that 56% of Germans are now dissatisfied with Chancellor Friedrich Merz's leadership. That's up 11 points since just June. Even worse, 58% say the government as a whole is failing. This is the highest dissatisfaction rating since the coalition took power. Voters are watching their energy bills skyrocket, their pension security evaporate, and their job market stagnate, while the government tells them to smile and work longer. And now, Friedrich Merz has another headache. Over the weekend, a last-minute EU-US trade deal was signed in Scotland. At first glance, it looks like a diplomatic victory. Tariffs were adjusted and certain sectors were protected. But Merz isn't buying it. He's furious, and he's not alone. According to Merz, the deal is a disaster for Germany. He argues it will increase inflation, disrupt trade, and further damage German industries already buckling under the pressure of high energy prices and weak demand. He's calling it what it is: capitulation. In his words, this isn't diplomacy, it's defeat. And let's be honest, he's not wrong. The United States continues to prioritize its own manufacturing base and protect key sectors with aggressive tariffs. Meanwhile, Europe, desperate for favor, keeps compromising. Merz warned that the deal may hurt both sides. For Germany, it will erode industrial strength. For the US, it may fuel inflation. And for the transatlantic relationship, it could signal a shift from cooperation to subordination. So where does all of this leave Germany? Let's step back. Germany is caught in a perfect storm. An aging population that's shrinking faster than anyone projected. A workforce unwilling or unable to extend hours or delay retirement. Energy prices that remain astronomically high due to the loss of Russian gas. A manufacturing sector slowly being hollowed out. Political leadership in disarray. And now, trade deals that appear to serve Washington more than Berlin. The question now is not whether Germany can avoid crisis. The question is, can it survive it? Reiche's call to extend working life may seem harsh, but maybe it's not just policy, it's a signal, a desperate cry from within the system that something fundamental has broken. Will Germans accept this reality and adapt, or will they resist and risk collapse? Here's what's clear. Germany is facing choices that will define not just its economy but its identity. Is it willing to work more, pay more, and sacrifice more just to maintain the status quo? Or is it time for a radical rethink about energy, trade, and the very structure of its labor market? Because one thing is certain, the old Germany is gone, and what comes next will either be a rebirth or a reckoning. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, intriguing, or even a little uncomfortable, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into global economic and political shifts. And leave a comment below. Should Germany extend the retirement age and increase working hours? Or is there a better way forward? I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next one.